go on that trip. If you are in your 20s and someone invites you to a trip to another country or something, you need to go. Even if you're gonna be in thousands and thousands of dollars of credit card debt, go anyways. You're only ever gonna regret not having those experiences when you're older. And while you're at it, you might as well finance some expensive car that you can't afford and buy some designer clothes that look stupid anyways. So all that stuff I said was just kind of a joke, but it is actually stuff I keep seeing on, on TikTok, on Instagram, these advice. And I just wanted to make this video to kind of talk about it because I think this advice might be doing more harm than good. But I did actually want to make a video kind of looking at maybe what some of the consequences might be of taking a trip when you can't afford it at my age and what that could potentially lead to later down in life. All right, so the first video we got is from this guy. His name's Davi. I used to actually see him on my page because he gives college advice that's pretty reasonable. But again, this isn't college advice. This is not to be cheap in your 20s advice. Let's watch the video.
There is nothing more annoying in your 20s than the dude that always wants to save money. And every friend group has one. You probably know someone like it. They just read Rich Dad Poor Dad. They're really turned on by the concept of compound interest. They keep pulling up the calculator and they're like, yeah, dude, in 47 years, I'll be a trillionaire. This is the lamest way to get rich.
Okay, I'm kind of partly with him on this. If someone mentioned Rich Dad Poor Dad to me, I wouldn't take them serious, to be honest. But that is not the lamest way to get rich. That's just how people get rich, or I guess how people get wealthy. Even if you make a lot of money and spend all of it, you'll still be broke. Even Elvis Presley was broke at the end of his career from having horrible spending habits, and he made all the money in the world. In your 20s, you're also at the beginning of your career, so you also don't have as much money to spend. That, and when you have kids, is gonna be the brokest you'll ever be. I think your 20s is actually a really good time to start budgeting and learning how to save money, just because when you have kids and stuff, you're gonna have to start spending even more on your kids. And if you already kind of know how to budget, know how to save money, it'll still be hard, but it'll at least be a little bit easier.
Corporate job maxers are the ones that play this. Save pennies here, pennies there, and 401k max to $3 million one day, which is a lot of money for most people. But like, if you're privileged enough to be working a corporate job like that, then you could shoot a little higher, or I'm shooting higher. But anyways, this mentor was like, Davi, I bought $3,000 worth of Amazon stock in 2010 and it turned into 30 grand. So you should think before you leave safe money. And I was like, brother, I want to be in a position where 30 grand means absolutely nothing to me. Which is why I spend 3 grand now on Airbnbs, on trips. I'm in Barcelona right now. I just came back from Blanes. Before that, I was in London. Buy a bunch of mentorships, sales trainings, etc. Don't need.
Okay, if everybody did that, they'd be super broke. I don't know how much money this guy makes or what he does, to be honest. I know he obviously makes content, but 3 grand a month is a lot. And also, that is 36 grand a year. How could normal people live like this? Most people that even make a lot of money couldn't or shouldn't be doing this stuff nonstop, or else they just won't have any money either.
Because at a certain age, you're never going to be able to go on another boys trip, on another trip to Europe. You're not going to be able to backpack. You're going to miss out on all this stuff just because you wanted to save $100 here and there. There's a time and a place.
Okay, a boys trip to Europe is not $100 here and there. I mean, the tickets alone to get there are thousands of dollars. It's so expensive. If you're in your 20s, you're probably not making enough to do this. And I'm not saying to never do it once in a while, but that's an insane lifestyle to have at the start of your career, at the start of your life, basically.
But like, you can get the Uber Eats after a long day. You can go on that trip. Never say no to a trip because of money.
What if you don't have the money to go on the trip?
That some people are not in the financial position to take the advice in this TikTok, and they need the safe money, and they...
Yeah, I would argue that most people in their 20s are not in a financial position to be taking advice from this TikTok.
Need as much of it as possible. If you're trying to financially independence, retire early, if you're trying to fire, then just make more money. And don't be a cheap fuck. You're gonna have a way better 20s like that.
That is somewhat true. You would have a way better 20s, but the rest of your life would be terrible because of it. It would be fun to do this, but let's say you go to get a house and you're in all sorts of credit card debt, or you have no savings for a down payment and you want to actually have kids and you don't have enough money to take them on trips, or you just can't retire at all because you blew all your money, then the rest of your life would kind of suck because you spent all your money in your 20s. So part of the reason I'm making this video is because I thought that most people think, well, if you can't afford it, how would you go on the trip? But apparently it's not common sense. I keep seeing people on TikTok that are in all sorts of credit card debt, and a lot of them are working to pay it off, but how are you getting in this level of credit credit card debt in your 20s. I understand if some serious emergency came up, but oh yeah, I was addicted to shopping, so I just put it all on a credit card. Why do you have a credit card if you're just gonna use it like that? Let's watch this video. Debt I've accumulated at the ripe age of 22. And I'm using this video as an example of what kind of happens to people who follow this kind of advice of just spending in your 20s and living it up. Oh my God. Okay, interest on that is gonna be like 2,500 bucks a year. That's in interest an entire boys trip, as that guy said.
Or is it slow?
Okay, 15 grand on a second card, 25 grand. The interest rate on that is probably around 25% total. It's over $5,000 in credit card interest every year. That's actually a good amount to save each year, to be honest.
Maybe it's useless.
Okay, we got an extra $2,500 here. This girl has $500,000 of debt at the age of 22. That's the age you graduate college. That's the age you're supposed to be starting your career if you went to college and working for 4 years and trying to kind of get out of your parents' house. How are people getting in this debt? It's at the age where it's still acceptable to live with your parents. I like watching these videos. Well, I actually don't like watching them because I just end up feeling bad for these people, but I think they're a good example of what's gonna happen if you just aren't the cheap guy in your 20s. Guess how she got out of the debt? Okay, and if you guessed filed for bankruptcy, you'd be absolutely right. All right, so here we got Squid Pactor. A lot of people have probably seen this guy online. He sells workout clothes, and he actually has a pretty successful clothing line. So let's just watch this video.
One of the best decisions I made this year was also among, if not the most financially irresponsible. I moved into a $4,500 a month apartment when I was making only $8K a month back in August last year. So coming up on a year now. Now, would I recommend this to your average everyday person? Absolutely not. This was incredibly irresponsible. But I'm the kind of guy that loves pressure. I love stress. When I'm not stressed, when I don't have like a challenge in front of me, if anything, I feel bored and I actually feel irritated.
I'm glad he acknowledged it's irresponsible and that he wouldn't recommend it to everybody, since at least it's not like the first guy where he's saying he would recommend it to everybody. But still, people are gonna see this and think, oh wow, this guy did it, so maybe I should live like that too, to put the pressure on myself. But you know, this guy's a pretty hard worker. He has a pretty successful clothing business as far as I know. I don't know if he has anything else. This guy's obviously a hardworking guy that makes a lot of money, so him doing it is a lot different than the viewer doing it, which I think people are gonna see this video and think, oh, I could do it myself. Yeah, that is a pretty irresponsible decision. $4,500 a month is a really high number for rent. All right, so here we got another video of a girl credit card debt breakdown. Let's watch the video and see what she has to say.
I owe $30,000 worth of credit card debt at 24 years old.
At 24, how are you getting in this much debt at this age? That is a crazy number. That's a really good amount to actually have saved. With the interest on that, you'd be paying upwards of $900 a month on just interest, meaning if you paid it, your principal wouldn't even go down. And at 24, you probably don't have an established enough career to be spending stuff like that. I know nothing about this girl, so maybe she does make enough money, but I mean, this is insane.
This is my credit card debt breakdown. Currently have 5 different credit card accounts that I need to pay off. The first one, which is
Why do you have 5 accounts?
the least amount of debt that I owe, would be my Freedom Unlimited card, in which I owe $1,649.99. My Capital One card, I owe $4,388.83. On my Best Buy account, I owe $6,210.
Why are you getting a Best Buy card? Just sign. If you're gonna get credit cards, at least get the good ones.
On my Chase credit card, I owe $6,856. Last but not least, Discover. This is the one that I owe the most on, and it is $10,952.
You put $10,000 on a card like Discover. Discover doesn't even give you free flights or anything. It's actually just $10,000 in the hole.
That brings me to a total of $30,057.68. I've looked into filing for bankruptcy, but I don't think that that's the best route for me at this time. I think that I won't qualify for Chapter 7, and I also don't think that Chapter 13 would be the best option either. There's no other option for me other than just finding other ways to make money and paying this off as soon as possible. I'm turning 25 soon, and my goal is to become debt-free and just be more smart with my money. Honestly, just never get myself back into this position.
Okay, so at least it ended with she doesn't ever want to get back in this spot. But $30,000, like 5 credit cards? After the first one got maxed out, why did you open a second? And after the second got maxed out, why is there a third? Yeah, this is so unfortunate for this girl. And I actually do hope this girl gets out of the debt. I do feel bad for her. But I think people need to see stuff like this so they don't go into the debt themselves. Okay, let's watch How to Be Broke, 3 life-changing steps from an account called The James Cooper Jr. Let's learn how to be broke. I mean, first of all, these balances are high, $5,000. So let's watch this video.
Accounts. And yes, this one is past due and this one is current, but I didn't have the money to pay that one, so I definitely don't have the money to pay this one. And here are the 3 steps that you can follow to end up in the same position. Step 1, take a whole bunch of trips you can't afford. And yes, that is Shaq at a music festival that I could not afford to be at. I was dirt poor, but I still thought it'd be a good idea to chase a bunch of DJs around the country. Step 2, treat your credit like it's cash in the...
Okay, I don't want to be that guy, but is going to these concerts even that fun? I mean, how is that worth the... That's not even worth the money if you have the cash.
Bang! I clearly didn't have any money in my account, but I had a bunch of credit. No money plus a whole lot of credit equals you're kind of rich. So by all means, spend. You don't have to pay the interest for the first 15 months anyway. And yes, these are also my bank accounts. Third, do not create a budget. Because if you create a budget, then you're gonna know exactly how much money you're spending on a whole bunch of stuff that you don't need. And if you don't know that you're spending it, then you're not spending it. Ignorance is bliss. Ignorance.
Okay, so I actually like this video a lot, not because I'm gonna crap on this guy for being in debt. He's actually talking about stuff that would help you get out of the debt. Like making a budget, which I've done myself because I was spending more than I realized. I looked and I was like, oh my God, I'm spending way too much on eating out or garbage. So this guy's video is actually pretty informative, and I looked at his account and he seems to be out of the debt now, and one of these kind of like a personal financial guru, and he does a pretty good job of it. So all right, so next up we got this girl here. Spend the money. Let's see what this girl says to spend the money on. I won't lie, if you are gonna be horrible with money, spending it on trips is kind of a good idea. If you are gonna blow all your money on one thing, you might as well take the trip if you're in the mindset of just going into a bunch of credit card debt and ruining your life.
Spend the money. Buy the cute outfit you want. Go on that trip you've always wanted to. Book the vacation you've always wanted to. Your friend invites you to a concert, go.
The outfit you want, I mean, I've wasted money on clothes before, and you always just stop caring about the clothes immediately after. Huge waste of money, and also no fulfillment. Concerts are kind of lame. Trips, you know, I obviously think trips are cool, but I actually don't think you should spend the money.
Why are you saving all this money for my retirement 60 years from now? Or, well, maybe I'll buy that one thing in 2 weeks when I get paid.
First of all, saving money isn't just about retirement, but what do you mean you'll buy that one thing when I get paid? Yeah, if you don't have the money, don't you kind of have to wait to get paid? I don't know. Saving money isn't just about, oh, I'm gonna retire when I'm 60. Let's say you have 300 grand saved up at some age, and you're like, I can afford to go on that trip, and you can go on the trip without thinking, wow, I just spent all my money. And maybe you'll have so much money, you'll even be able to share your wealth with your kids, or actually share your wealth instead of just spending it on trips with your friends.
Okay, harsh reality. How do you even know that you're gonna be here in 2 weeks?
I mean, yeah, that's true, but realistically, if a medical emergency came up, wouldn't you want to have money saved up to help pay for that? I mean, I guess there's a chance you could have an aneurysm or something, but I mean, the chances of you dying in the next 2 weeks are too low to be ruining your life.
That's how I always think of things. My dad always gives me the most crap about how much money I spend. Because you're going to have to think about 60 years from now, blah, blah, blah. And I cut him off and I said, Dad, who says I'm going to be here in 60 years?
Okay, what about if you want to have kids and want to give them a good life where they're not feeling the pressure of your debt and you're getting sent to collection? Don't you want to be able to have a nice life when you're in your 30s? You would still also be regretting it, which is a pretty high likelihood that you'll get to that point.
And I want these next 6 years, if I am alive, to be full of fun, to be full of experiences. I don't want them to be spent sitting at home eating freaking ramen noodles, forcing myself to sit at home and do nothing and not go and do the things I want, go out to eat, go to these fun concerts and have the most fun life ever just because I'm worried about penny pinching and saving money.
I guess it would be the most fun life ever, but is any of that stuff really fulfilling? Is going to concerts and trips, maybe trips, but are going to concerts and just buying a bunch of food, eating out, is that fulfilling to anyone? I think stuff like that you'll just regret when you're older. That one in a lifetime trip maybe, but the other stuff, come on. Wasting your money is just a bad decision. I don't know why people are promoting it.
Go and have fun. Go and spend the money. I'm not saying absolutely go broke, but if you want to go on a trip, go on the trip. If you want to go to that country concert next week, buy the freaking tickets.
She's saying that she is not saying to go broke, but this advice would make you broke. These are the spending habits that make people broke. Whenever you hear people in credit card debt, it's usually all of these same habits. You see their spending habits, it's like, yeah, they eat out and they buy the expensive dish on the menu. They don't really seem to notice that the restaurant they're eating at's expensive. They don't think eating out 3 times a week is abnormal.
Okay? Spend the money. I know money can't buy happiness, but it can damn sure buy things and experiences that can make you happy. And you deserve to live a full, fun, happy life while you are still here on Earth. So,
okay, that is true. I think you do deserve to live a fun, happy life, but the comfort of not being broke brings more enjoyment than going to concerts and eating out a bunch. I'm just gonna say don't spend the money. All right, after watching another video about spending the money, I feel like to, cleanse my palate, I need to watch a video about credit card debt again.
How did I manage to find myself in $40,000 of credit card debt at
Dude, that's a lot of money.
the age of 30? 2025 is the year that I'm going to be tackling all of my debt. So I do have just shy of $40,000 in credit card debt alone. One of the most asked questions is,
Okay, I don't know what she means by loan. I'm gonna hope there's no other debt. I'm making this video to talk about credit card debt.
how? I can sum it up in 3 things and say, I live in a high cost area, I don't make a lot as a teacher, and I have some poor spending habits. I was living with another teacher friend of mine, and we were probably putting about 50% of our paychecks each month into rent.
Okay, that's actually, getting a roommate is smart. So actually the rent, and 50%, you could live off the other 50% theoretically. So that's actually not that bad.
We were going out a lot, we were Ubering everywhere, we were going to brunches, we were going into the city.
Okay, that's actually gotten the debt, probably. Ubering, eating out, going out. Yeah, I mean, it's these small things, these $40 meals that you eat, probably adding up.
And I had a bunch of educational tests that I needed to take in order to get certified in my state. I had to take, I think, 7 different tests. If you've taken any tests before, they're a couple $100s a piece. And I had 2 of them that I could not pass, so I had to take them multiple times.
Okay, let's just say she spent $5,000. She's got about another $35,000 of debt that was not from these tests.
I was working multiple jobs. My first, I think, 3 years, I was working 4 jobs.
What is the point of having a bunch of side hustles if you're spending all the money? I feel like a side hustle is the kind of thing you do when maybe you have a kid or something and you just really need the income, or you're just really trying to save your money. This girl spent it on garbage, basically, on stuff that meant nothing. Going out and shopping.
I had gotten a car that the payment was way too high. It just wasn't in my budget, but I was like, oh, I have a salary. I can kind of buy whatever I want.
Car debt is another, that's not even the credit card debt. She said $40,000 in credit card debt, and now she's talking about car loans, which is a whole separate thing that I have a lot of opinions about on why it's really stupid that people keep doing this.
I did stop tutoring. That was just something that I truly couldn't do anymore. I felt myself miserable going there after school, and some days I would be gone from 7 to 7, and I was like, I can't live like this anymore.
Okay, if she can't live like this anymore, why are you spending in a way that makes it pretty much impossible not to have to work a second job?
This last year, I also got Invisalign. That was $6,000 on my credit card right there. As much as I regret the silly things like ordering takeout all the time or going shopping all the time, I'm gonna live with no regrets because I'm at a really good place in my life, finally. 2025 is the year that we're really gonna tackle our debt. And as always, if you have any money saving tips that you would like to share, feel free to comment.
At least this girl wants help. Her account bio here says 3,800 out of basically 40 grand. That is good for her. I think her life story that she gave could be a pretty good lesson for a lot of people, but I actually do hope this girl gets out of the debt. If you're in your 20s, spend your money on travel. Okay, let's see what this guy has to say.
In your 20s, the only thing you should be spending money on is traveling. That you and your friends are talking about, book it, go for it. I know it might seem a little bit expensive, but you're gonna create memories that will last forever with you. It's like, imagine you wake up in this random country where you don't even know the language. You and your friends are just chilling, just going around the country, meeting new people, doing some new experiences. It's something you'll never regret. The only thing you will regret is not going on that trip.
Okay, what if you don't have the money? These people saying this don't seem to have a solution for if you don't have the money. I think most people in their 20s aren't taking these trips because they don't have the money. These people have such questionable advice. I see a lot of advice saying, take that trip. And I've seen other things like that feeling you're gonna have in a super nice car in your 20s is gonna be so great. You know, the reality is the reason I kept pulling up credit card debt is they're kind of the result of what happens when people keep following this advice. I know there are some people who can afford to take the trip, and you know, if you can afford it, then take it. I think people are just giving out advice that's bad for most people to follow. Feel bad for the people in credit card debt, but why are there people online basically promoting this stuff? Yeah, go on that trip, buy that car. Like, you know, you're just telling your fans to just go ruin their lives. Shouldn't you actually care enough about them to tell them not to do this stupid crap? It just kind of bothers me. I don't know why these people are promoting this sort of stuff. The only reason I can think of is just they don't care about their fans, and you know, they're trying to justify their own stupid habits and pushing it onto their fans. You're gonna go on a trip, maybe you should save up a little bit for the trip before just booking a trip to Europe or something. Yeah guys, I hope you like that video. If anyone for some reason sees this video, which I don't think people will, I think all my views have just been me and my girlfriend. My last video, I literally got no views on it before I viewed it myself. But if for some reason someone does see this video, please give me tips how to make better videos or things you think I could do better, or maybe even video suggestions in the comment section, just because, you know, I am pretty new to making videos and I don't really know what I'm doing at all. But yeah, I think I'm gonna go open up some credit cards so I can afford a trip to Europe. Europe travel vlog coming, but I'm probably gonna be in so much debt that I won't be able to afford a camera, so I guess I won't make any video on it.